I think we need to sit down and have a chat.
No, I don't.
The American reality show Wife Swap, based on the British show of the same name, premiered on ABC in September 2004. The program saw two families, typically with opposing lifestyles and hailing from different social classes, swap wives, or occasionally husbands for 2 weeks. During the show's original 6-year run, John Schwab was in charge of narration. To spice things up, the two wives involved in the swap tended to be wildly different. One might be a neat freak, while the other hated housework, or be a vegan, whereas the other was not. In almost every episode, the two families had to carefully navigate their alternate members' social and cultural differences, which, unsurprisingly, sometimes resulted in clashes. Celebrity Wife Swap, the show's spin-off, premiered in January 2012 and ran for 4 seasons. The original series was quietly canceled in 2010, enjoyed a brief revival in 2013, and in 2018 CMT announced that 10 new episodes would be released under its original format. The reboot, however, premiered on Paramount Network instead in April 2019. Paramount renewed the show for a 12th season but canceled it in September 2020, shifting to films. The first week is a challenge in both households. Each wife leaves behind a house manual explaining the rules and lifestyles in the household, which the replacement wife must follow. At the rules change ceremony, each wife determines which rules to apply and which to discard during the rest of her time with her new family. Things change in week 2 as the new wives establish their own rules which must be adhered to by the family they are staying with. An awkward adjustment period usually follows. Plus, the wives also disperse a sum of money to the new family, which is to be spent as they see fit. When the 2-week experiment is over, the two couples have their first face-to-face group meeting when wives and husbands discuss how the experience made them feel. Of course, this isn't intended to be a peaceful chit-chat, as on at least 2 occasions the meetings have turned violent. And even in milder cases, it's not unusual for the families to hurl personal insults at each other. On rarer occasions, the families reach a comfortable middle ground and conclude the experience with mutual respect for each other, having learned how other households live. Cameras return after a few weeks to document any changes that the families have implemented since the swap. Although the original Wife Swap had over 120 episodes and the reboot 20 more, years later, viewers still remember certain families. In 2004, Jody and Steven Spalansky agreed to appear on the show, and viewers were soon turned off by the delusions of grandeur and entitled behavior displayed by the wealthy and affluent family. Steven made cruel and classicist remarks about the swapping wife and her family's economic situation, whereas Jody laughed at Lynn's job chopping wood and made disparaging remarks toward Lynn's husband, Brad, due to his family's modest lifestyle. Despite the Spalansky clan living in New York City's Upper East Side, Jody and Steven were considered neglectful due to the amount of time they spent away from their children. From gym sessions to shopping trips or meals out alone, they were rarely seen with their offspring. Lynn and Brad, a rural low-income family living on a farm in New Jersey, couldn't have been more different. To celebrate the US show's 100th episode in March 2009, producers picked out 24 families to enter a competition and do a second swap. Voting began in October 2008. The psychic, artistic Silvers, and the eccentric UFO hunting Heens were picked out by viewers, and the second family becoming notorious months later for their participation in the infamous Balloon Boy hoax. In October 2009, Richard and Mayumi Heen released a homemade gas balloon shaped like a flying saucer and claimed that their young son Falcon was trapped inside of it. The balloon flew for 90 minutes and reached 7,000 feet. Richard and Mayumi's son was nicknamed Balloon Boy by the media, and the event attracted attention from all around the world. In a dramatic chase, local police and National Guard helicopters alike followed the balloon, which landed near Denver International Airport. Falcon wasn't found inside, and reports of an object falling from the balloon led to a frantic search for the youngster. The boy was later found hiding in the Heen family's attic, where he'd apparently been all along. After a last-minute Larry King Live interview with the family, Falcon blew his family's cover when he revealed that his parents had said that they were doing it for the show. It would appear that the Heens had staged the whole publicity stunt, and days later, the Larimer County Sheriff at the time concluded that Richard and Mayumi would face felony charges. In November 2009, Richard was hit with a 90-day jail sentence and ordered to pay $3,600 after pleading guilty to attempting to influence a public servant. His wife was sentenced to 20 days of weekend jail. The family later claimed that they were pressured into taking a guilty plea after Mayumi was threatened with deportation. They were pardoned by Governor Jared Polis in December 2020. Back to Wife Swap. A 2009 episode saw the Hollands of North Carolina have their lives turned upside down by Joy Brown, a fitness instructor who tried to change the family's unhealthy lifestyle. Curtis Holland, the family's 6-year-old son, was particularly unappreciative of Joy's efforts, and became almost famous for his witty one-liners and comedic timing. He was approached with advertisement offers for a bacon company and to film his own reality show, offers which didn't work out, perhaps due to his young age. Some clips of his episode also received millions of views and went viral years later. In 2015, Holland created a GoFundMe to buy a car, claiming that he was never paid for his Wife Swap appearance. The page was soon removed. As is the case with the best reality shows, Wife Swap was plagued by scandal and controversy during its initial 6-year run. The first of many legal hiccups began brewing in 2004, when ABC outbid Fox Network and announced an American version of Wife Swap, which would be called Trading Moms. Not to be outdone, Fox came out with an almost identical program named Trading Spouses, which premiered in July of the same year. ABC decided to use the UK title for its series, which broadcast in late September 2004. RDF Media sued Fox in December 2004 for copyright infringement, claiming that they'd copied the show's format without permission. Following a years-long legal battle, Fox sold the show's rights to CMT in 2008. Meanwhile, in November 2005, a participant of the American series sued ABC when they traded his wife for a gay man. He accused ABC of dishonesty, not letting him get in touch with his wife, and making him skip on college lessons due to tight filming schedules. In even more sensational claims, he added that ABC refused to pay for his wife's return home, or even tell him where she was once production wrapped up. In December of the same year, the man sued for over $10 million. A spokeswoman for the show revealed that the spouse could be of either gender according to the contract. The outcome of the lawsuit remains uncertain, but the UK version of Wife Swap began seeking out more gay or lesbian couples in 2007 so as to expand its audience. In March 2010, the ABC network was hit by a $100 million lawsuit by Alicia Guastafaro, who appeared in the show in 2008, claiming that she'd suffered from suicidal tendencies and panic attacks after the public embarrassment caused by her appearance on the show. She also added that many scenes had been staged as producers had asked her to behave differently. It's doubtful that she received the 9-figure sum, but the lawsuit was privately settled out of court in the same year, with no details shared with the press. Viewers were intrigued when Wife Swap was cancelled, given the chaotic show's popularity and influence, and only years later can we begin to figure out the truth about its abrupt end. Wife Swap is similar to other crazy reality shows in that many aspects were exaggerated or outright fabricated. Christy Oath, who participated in the show's earlier episodes, complained to the New York Times about being depicted as a workaholic mother who put her children on the back burner to focus on her career. "There is a very big element of unreality to the way they pigeonholed me," she griped. However, Christie's complaints were not entirely unfounded. Although it was claimed that she ran her family like a business and lacked maternal instincts, the truth was that she put her career on hold for half a decade to raise her 4 children, which producers forgot to mention, and had only returned to work when her husband left his job in Manhattan. Many naive families have the same issue, and with time more and more former participants came forward with their own stories. For example, Nancy Sederquist's family was supposedly living out of a treehouse. The show's producers concocted a compelling storyline claiming that the Setterquists lived off the grid, and that Nancy's husband, Keith, was the only semi-functional member of society. As it happens, the Setterquist family home had no cement foundation and was instead perched on the bases of trees. It's also true that Nancy was homeschooling her 6 children. However, viewers didn't get to see the wide range of extracurricular activities the young Setterquists were involved in. From ballet to band to basketball and even a pom-pom squad. More details were left out of the Oath Setterquist episode. Tensions between Nancy and Michael, Christie's husband, reached an all-time high when she was put up in a nearby hotel just 5 days into the experience. Producers drove Nancy to and from the Oath house until she finished filming her scenes, which they also manipulated, and the new rules she devised for the Oath children were actually written by the production team. "I really thought reality television was more real than it is," she lamented. The children and young people who participated in Wife Swap had their own complaints, which is perhaps unsurprising as producers used their insecurities against them after having them fill in a 700-question psychiatric exam. With that said, disgruntled reality TV participants are a dime a dozen, and it's unlikely that the show was canceled on this basis alone. Let's not forget that in 2020, Paramount switched from reality shows to other content. The president of entertainment brands at Viacom-CBS announced in the same year, "We're doubling down on scripted but diversifying with made-for-TV movies, miniseries, and blockbuster series." Paramount culled many of its unscripted programs, including Battle of the Fittest Couples and Ink Master, implying that the cancellation of Wife Swap was bound to happen sooner or later under the network. As for Celebrity Wife Swap, it never quite took off. Despite boasting big names such as the rapper Coolio, the actor Corey Feldman, and the exuberant reality star Haiti Montag, the spin-off was believed to be even more scripted than its original. Given that celebrities have more to lose than your average Joe, and viewers soon lost interest. One could argue that the writing was on the wall for Celebrity Wife Swap when Season 3 premiered in 2014. Amongst adult viewers aged 18 to 49, the show received a measly 1.0 rating according to the Nielsen numbers, and only half as many people tuned in to watch the premiere compared to Season 2. Nevertheless, producers tried to turn things around in Season 4, but despite riveting appearances from the likes of Tammy Roman and Margaret Cho, it was too little too late. There have been no talks of rebooting or rebranding the Wife Swap franchise, which is, perhaps, for the best. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.